Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge this land on which University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississauga of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work, learn, and gather on this land. So with that, welcome to the East Asian Library's AI Innovation Series. This series is designed to support our community in understanding and integrating AI into our daily work and research projects. Today's session is tailored for students and faculty in East Asian studies and related fields, offering hands-on experience with AI-assisted research tools. While our focus is on East Asian studies, the approaches we explore today have applications across the humanities, and we hope you find them valuable and insightful. So as a just quick background, the series began last November with a session on transforming classical Chinese texts into searchable databases with AI, presented by Dr. Guinter Lomas, founder of Sigtica. And yesterday, we hosted a wonderful workshop specifically for library staff. Here I will just give you a quick rundown of today's schedule. So this current session will be running until 12 noon today. And at the back, there's a coffee and tea, some refreshments for you. So please help yourself. And for lunch, we'll be having 1 hour lunch until 1:15. And the lunch will be provided to all the participants here. And then afternoon session, that will start from 1:30 and it will run until 3:30 for 2 hours. And again, we will have a coffee and tea for you, for us to keep going. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's instructor, Dr. Tung. Yesterday I pronounced it Tung, and I'm very, very sorry. That's a Cantonese pronunciation, which I just learned this morning from Andrew. So thank you, Andrew. Dr. Tang is the managing director of the Digital China Initiative and a lecturer in the Department of East Asian Languages and Civilizations at Harvard University. He brings a rich background in history, having earned his bachelor's and master's degrees from the Chinese University of Hong Kong, followed by a PhD in History and Asian Studies from Pennsylvania State University. He has built and maintained International China Studies Events Clearinghouse and Digital China World as part of his work. In recent years, he has focused on exploring the potential of new technologies in humanities research. Over the last 2 years, Dr. Tang has organized and led workshops on adopting generative AI in Chinese studies and humanities research at Harvard and many other institutions globally. We're so excited to have Dr. Tang with us today, and please join me in welcoming Dr. Tang.
Thank you very much. I'm Colin Tang, in Chinese, Tung Guoliang or Tung Guoliang in Cantonese. So I'm the managing director for Digital China Initiative and also a lecturer of a Department of East Asian Languages and Civilizations at Harvard University. So by training, should I use present tense or past tense? I am still a historian. So that's why yesterday I was in kind of like not a field that of my domain expertise, so I learned a lot from the librarians. Today, this section is designed for graduate students, undergraduate students, faculties who more on the research side of humanities and also East Asian studies. So please, if you were here yesterday, you know the tricks, and please go to my website. All the teaching material will be on my website. So once you access the website, you can see there is a workshop sections, and you click the workshop sections, And there are some old teaching materials that here, if you have time, you can take a look of it. But today we will use this one from unstructured to structured data. So if you click it, then it pops up, asks you for the password, and then the password is U of T 2025, U capital letter, T capital letter. Okay, so then you will come to the website. Does anyone have any problem accessing the website? Is it too, should we dim this part of the light, or is it okay for you to see the screen? Okay. Does anyone have any problem accessing this website? No? Okay. So again, I want to give my appreciation to the East Asian Library at University of Toronto, and also especially to Hannah and her team. I greatly appreciate all the hospitality, and especially again, I really think that Canadians are really, really nice. I think you heard a lot about that, but yeah, and since when I land at the airport, I have very strong feeling about that. And then, so today's workshop is designed for East Asian Studies graduate students and faculty interested in integrating digital tools and methods into their learning and research process. Participants will gain a practical skill in utilizing AI-assisted tools for East Asian Studies research. And we will try, what I will try to do today is try to show how you can build a digital collection, no matter what subject, no matter what discipline you are in. I will try to introduce some general principle or general way you can build a digital collection. So this is our outline for today. In the morning part is quite Harry Potter themed, I would say, because there are quite a lot of Harry Potter element. So the first part is we will talk about how to chant the magic spell. How can we do the chanting? And then, so we will talk more about prompt engineering, which I did not mention much yesterday. And then next is we will get a sense of the data landscape. So how to model data. For the librarian, this may be a very familiar topic, but for a lot of humanities researcher, even when I was in graduate school, we have no idea. We know we need to read books. We know we collect a lot of material data, but we don't know how to model it and get them into a useful way for our research. And then the last is we will try one software to see how we can store and retrieve the data. And then in the afternoon, we will discuss the following topic. I will try to show how to build a bookmark collector. To you, it seems like, why bookmark collector? A bookmark collector is I give a URL to the tools that we built. Then the tools will go to the website, collect the data, and then use AI to write the summary, extract the data that we want, and then put it into a database. So this is just an example. Then you can make revision of this example to fit your own use in the future. Then after that, we will see how I will use some of my expertise data from Chinese history to show you how we can convert the unstructured data into structured data based on the bookmark collector we built to try to see how we can have the data and then use AI to help us to do a lot of extraction, summarization, and then put it into a database. And then the third part, after these two parts, I think you may have a lot of questions. Usually that's the case that I encounter in my past experience as people start to ask, oh, I have all this data. What should I do? I have all this. So I would like to save some time for you to ask questions or even show me your data. Then I can try to see if I can develop some preliminary thoughts to help you to do this. So far, so good? Any question? Okay, first, chanting the magic spell. Now, we have all AI here, right? And AI is the magic. Again, once I need to ask a question. Did you watch or read Harry Potter? No one here haven't watched or read Harry Potter. Okay, that will be great. And then, okay, for Harry Potter, in Harry Potter, when you need to do a magic, no matter what magic it is, no matter it's a killing curse or no matter it's just fighting someone from the library, if I need to do a magic, then what are the essential components for general wizard? We are not talking about Voldemort. We are not talking about Dumbledore. They are the top tier of the world. But for general, like the young Harry Potter or Ron, when they need to do the magic, what are the essential components for them? What kind of tools or what kind of things they need to do, the actions they need to do the magic? Very good. They need a wand, right? You need to have a wand. Even if you remember that one episode, Ron's wand was broken. And then when he cast the spell, and it rebounds to himself. So we need a wand, a good wand, and then also a wand that pick you as their master. And then we need the spell, right? And we need to chant the spell correctly. And so, in the AI world, what is your wand? The large language model. They are your wands. So you have many wands now. Yesterday, I know that at University of Toronto, you can use Google, Microsoft Copilot for kind of like for free. And then yesterday, we also tried a lot of Google tricks. We have Google Gemini. And I use for myself, my personal favorite at the time is the Cod. But I almost like paying $100 for different kind of tools now per month to try different things. So these are the wands. You don't need to stick with one wand. You can have different wands because they have different performance and different tasks. And then you need to have the spell, right? You have the spell correct, then the performance of your magic can be greatly different. So the spell in the AI world is the prompt. The prompt you give to the large language model and ask them to do the task you want them to do. That's the spell. So before we can do the magic, let's see what are the limitations of the magic first, okay? There are some basic principles. First, generative AI models are just auto-complete. If you were here yesterday, you already heard about this, as we have our smartphone for many years already. If you use, for example, iPhone, then you use the Apple keyboard when you type English, when you type the first word, it will give you recommendation for the second word, and then you do the second word, it will give you the recommendation of the fourth word. So all this, they are auto-complete. And LLM, what I'm focusing right now is the large language model of the generative AI. They are also auto-complete, okay? So they're not competing one sentence, they are competing paragraph, they are competing code, they are competing the task that you ask them to do. They are auto-complete. But at the same time, what consists the auto-complete, what consists the candidate for the auto-completion is probability, probability, probability. If you know that the large language model was trained based on a lot of data, OpenAI, Google, Meta, they collect, and then they train them. So yesterday, we can do it again for those newcomer. Now you can just open the Copilot from University of Toronto. I'm not focusing on one model. I'm not going to only use Gemini. You can use any model you want, and then ask a question to ask it to give you a random number. Ask it to give you a random number. You can ask it 3 times to see is it random. Okay. How many of you get 42? You see? Right? How many of you get 7? Okay. Like yesterday. It was like yesterday, right? And then if you try more times, then you will get more 42, and you will get more 7. 42 is a very special number in sci-fi fictions, and yeah, you already know your hand. And then you can expect that the 42 appear a lot in the training data. That's why the frequency of 42 could be much higher than all other random number. So once you ask it to give you a random number, actually it's not random. It's not like you write a Python code, you use random, and then the function to give you a random, they have an algorithm to do it. No, it's just picking something that with high frequency from their training data to give them to you. Okay, so everything is just probability, probability, probability. So once you see something like hallucination and all the things, remember this. And then, okay, if you know your expect output, and then you will make the best use of them. So you know what you really want. Is like we have A as the origins, and then we have B as the result, and you clearly understand what you want from B, then you will get the best of them. Okay, so we will see some cases below. And then the last one, I think this one is very important to researcher and to undergraduates and to all other people who want to use them in their research, is use AI tools to support your research process, not the conclusion. The conclusion should be made by you as a domain expertise. AI tools only help you to support your research process. And this is the main theme of today's workshop. You will see, I hope that I can achieve this goal. There are issues and concerns. First is the inconsistency. So you may send in the same query, the same prompt, but getting different results every single time, then that is the inconsistent. And then the hallucination. We have a lot of hallucination, and also from the perspective of humanities researchers, hallucination is not like something in mathematics. If you don't, there's a trick that a lot of people love to do. Ask it 10.9 and 10.11, which one is greater? That's a very popular trick. That's hallucination in a mathematical sense, but hallucination in a humanities sense is like making up of some facts that did not happen, making up resources that did not exist, and to a lot of people, that seems to be make sense, but those may not be the fact. So those are hallucination. And yesterday, I may go through a little bit of those tools after our lunch. Yesterday, we used quite a lot of time to talk about the Notebook LM from Google. Have you any experience with Notebook LM? All right, and then yeah, so Notebook LM use technology called retrieval augmented generation. So it only gives you the answer based on the resources, the sources that you provide to them. So that can be one way to solve the problem with hallucination. And then the last one is the privacy and the security issue, right? And I am on yesterday there were librarians coming from meta service department. He did a lot of work to see which large language model, especially the for example the Copilot used at your University of Toronto, to see their like a statement. Would they use your data to do training for their future use in their models? I would say I'm on a more extreme side, and from my perspective, you only have two extremes. One is sending out your data to someone. One is doing everything on site with an isolated machine without connection to Wi-Fi. You may say, what? How you can do it? Yes, there are a lot of local deploymentable model. For example, Llama, developed by Meta. You can deploy it even on a machine like the one that on my desktop, with some software called, for example, Llama LM Studio. Then you can cut off the internet and then use everything on your own machine. Of course, those models, they are small model. They are not the frontier model. They may not have the best result from Claude, from OpenAI, from Google. But my perspective is that very soon, when all these AI tools become more popular, we may move into a direction that we may use a specific model for specific tasks. Then that specific model can become smaller, more efficiency in terms of energy consumption, and more efficiency in the task that we give to them. As a result, that means that can be run on some machine on site without internet connection. But that is, at this moment, I would say that most of us, we still love to use the big models because they can help us, they are so convenient. But in the future, I think local deployment and also small model could be a very popular trend. So let's do some YouTubers favorite trick. If you did not do it yesterday, then you need to do it today. You can log into the Microsoft Copilot provided by the University of Toronto. You can find the access from this page. This page, I found it last night, but I don't have the login to it, so I don't know it works or not. But I think you can try it. And if you don't have Microsoft Copilot, try any tools, any chatbots, for example, even Copilot, you log in with Microsoft account, you can already use it. You can try with Facebook, sorry, not Facebook, you can try with Gemini. And I have my Copilot, which is not the paid version. So I will try the first one. I will copy this. And then I come here to my Copilot, I paste it here. How many words are in your response to this question? Okay, they even bolded 34 words and then give emoji at the end. Yeah, I rock. No. Sorry, you don't. Even I don't count it, I know that that is much less than 34, right? And then if I ask the second time, 19, this time may be close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, no, definitely not. So not 19. You can see this trick, we use it a lot. The reason is that you can see this is exactly a good example to tell you is prediction. So this is not doing calculation. Of course, from an engineer's perspective, you can do something to do with, if I only want to solve this problem, that is not difficult for a lot of engineers. You just make sure that once someone asks a similar question to this, what is the counting the word, then it first provides a response. And then start a one time, use Python code, count all the words, and provide that word in like a space. All this can be done by training, but my point I want to make here is this is all the LLM, they're doing prediction. So second one, this one, sometimes it got it correct because I think all the model now use this as a training data. Yeah, it get it correct. I hope yours also get it correct. 3 out, right? And then, so far, any question? Problems? Okay. Now, we will jump into the spell part. How to chant spell, how to do the prompt. So yesterday, after the workshop, we had a small discussion over there, and one graduate student from, I think, the high school, he asked a question. He asked me, the people who do writing prompt, they call themselves prompt engineer. What do I think? I would say that I don't know, but I know prompt engineer in the state, that can be a 300,000 annual salary job, and it do those kind of vacancy did exist, and the people who got those jobs, quite a lot of them, they were not from CS background. A lot of them are from linguistic background and also from humanities background. I don't know is something that engineer, but definitely writing prompt or making prompt is very important. So you will see this style is called Markdown style in the following prompt that some of the prompt I use. The reason we use Markdown style here is you know that most of the LLM, the large language model or the chatbot, they only intake text. Now they can also get image, and also they can get audio file, video file. But for text, if you want to show it, okay, this is a table, how you can show it, right? So it's quite difficult if you only paste the text in it and tell it this is a table. So the way that we do is we use the Markdown style and then convert the table into the Markdown format and then fit it into the LLM. You don't need to like memorize all the Markdown style right now, but I just want to let you know that once you see something like this into your prompt, they are marked down. So you can go to this link to check the Markdown style. So the prompt engineering already become a discipline, a field. So there are several common prompt engineering techniques. First one is zero shot. It's a fancy word. You will see zero shot, few shot. Actually, what it say is without example or with some example. There are zero shot, one shot, and few shot. So it's no example, one example, and few example. So you will see some of the use case. They are few shots. They are giving example to tell the LLM, this is what I want. But usually now, if you want to start the conversation, you may not have examples on it. And then chains of thought is telling the LLM, hey, don't do this by only one step. Try to think about like how you can put it into different steps and do different things. You may heard about the OpenAI. They recently have a very powerful, but at the same time very expensive model called O1. And the O1, they have a new tier of subscription. It's called Pro tier. If I remember correctly, it's like $200 per month subscription fee. It's very expensive, $200. But, so the O1 model actually use a lot of chain of thought. So it's not only running one time when they get the question. It's running multiple times to think and rethink and from different perspectives to think about the same problem. And then in the last 2 years, if you want to do mathematics with LLM, a lot of people ask you, add this. Think about it step by step. So the model can think, process complicated mathematical questions by divide the questions into different steps and then conquer each step for it. But from humanities perspective, you may not need this much because the best way could be you think about what are the steps and tell the LLM the steps. And then the confirmation of understanding is like you give them a task and ask it, can you confirm you understand what I'm saying before you really like processing with the task. And then not doing is not return something negative prompt. It happens a lot in generating image. Do you have experience generating image? Do you have experience generating human in an image with fingers? Right? So now most of the models are really good. But like 1 year ago, if you ask it, show me a picture with a 3-year-old baby with their hands, then you may get an image with 8 fingers on one hand and other one have 3 fingers. So then at that time, we usually use negative prompt to tell it, don't do image with more than and less than 5 fingers, right? So that makes sure that it understands, hey, don't do it, okay? So that is negative prompt. I give you some links on the different prompts with their examples. You can go to all this website to take a look of them if you are interested in prompt engineering. But today, what I'm going to show you is more on the side of how we can use LLM in humanities research. That is more than just giving prompts, but also we are focusing on what are the scenarios you can use it, okay? But at the same time, I really want to raise one very important word is imagination. Okay, what I'm showing you here is just trying to show you the way that we can do with it, but you are not going to like, oh, then these are not my research examples. I'm a big fan of Jin Yong when I was a kid. So do you with Jin Yong or watch movies from Jin Yong? Some of you maybe, okay. So there was a very quick Kung Fu master called Zhang Sanfeng in Jin Yong's books or movies. So he taught his disciple to learn about the Tai Chi sword, right? And then he asked his disciple to say, don't remember how to do it. Don't remember the gesture. Try to understand the spirit. So 不要记住那个招式. You need to remember the 招意. So the spirit is more important. This is the same on AI. Is try to understand the idea and the concept and the logics behind all this use case, then you may get something useful to it. Okay? So far, any questions? If no, then do you already opened the chatbot you usually use or you can access at this moment? Everyone, right? Okay, let's try the first one. Parallel text translation. Now you can copy this whole prompt. Oh, sorry, the button does not appear, so yesterday there's a copy button, but today I also disappear. And so copy the whole poem. Okay. And then paste it into your choice of chatbot. One tips here: every single time when you need to do a new task, do you use the same conversation you had with the LLM, or you will start a new conversation? The same? You use the same? So you have everything in one conversation only, or you will start different conversation every single time? Different. Who said different? Who said the same? Okay. Use a different one, because it has memory. All the things that you tell it, it will remember some of it, not all of it, some of it. So when your conversation getting longer and longer, the opportunity of hallucination increase. So every single time when you try to have a new conversation, try to have start a new chat, and then I paste mine into it, and then I paste it. So what this use case does is to a lot of translation work you may do is you want to try to see match of each sentence and their translation. So I have the heart suture, and I think you may be familiar with the heart suture and their English translation. And then now what it does is I give two paragraphs, the English translation and the English translation and the Chinese translation. And then I ask it, okay, now try to parallel them. The Chinese sentence and the English sentence, Chinese sentence and the English sentence. So it can do like this. There's one trick we can use here. So far you can see they use the Chinese version as the base version, right? And that's why you can see there are multiple sentences in the English version. And you can try to ask it to use the English version as the base version, and then try to see if you get a different result. So you see, my model is not strong enough, so it does not do a very good job, because this is not a paid version. This giant tech company, they still have a very clear different tiers of their service. So is the one that you use, that's the one that you use provide correct answer, can match every sentence out of it. So now I will try this one. So this is the artifact function of the court model. So it will provide the information on the other side of the conversation, the result of the prompt from the other side of the conversation. So you can see this one, it kind of like getting the sentence of the original structure, the Chinese version, and then provide the English version. So it really depends on what you think about the result, and you need to try with different models to see the result of it. So for anyone here is translation major? No, I cannot get with your translation major. So does this useful to you, or something that you can make use of your research? Yeah. Yeah, so a variant of this is because if you have, that is the next one. This is a variant of the first one. So for this one, it's not trying to parallel different translation. This one is going to, now I use this. I use the court. Then you use the copilot. Then we can see the difference in model. For this one, I give the prompt two paragraph from. Okay, the artifact is not as good as. Okay, so the comparison is become like this. And maybe I should use the ChatGPT. Okay, let's see the ChatGPT. So you can tell from there are two Chinese texts, classical Chinese texts without punctuation. They are similar. Actually, that came from a real research case. I have a student who want to compare multiple versions of the same text and try to find out the difference. So, what happens to you? Why you are keep analyzing? Okay. So what it does is it tries to compare and then give you the difference. You can see now the okay, so that, because this prompt first formed was a couple months ago, the performance of it is completely different from what it looks like now. And then some people say the ChatGPT become stupid in the last couple of months. And from this perspective, it seems like yes. So what in the couple months ago, if we use this prompt, what it can do is the difference is telling you exactly what are the difference of the word. And then also the analysis to say that why it thinks is different. Let me see the code, if the code get the better one. Okay, so for this one, it can show you the difference, telling you that like Okay, text B add 其 before 是 and then use 例 instead of this 例 and then 说经 and then give you analysis of it. Okay, so do you get similar results or you just get some quote unquote stupid results from Microsoft? Because Microsoft, if you know that Microsoft actually they are using OpenAI's model. They are using the GPT-4o model. Okay, for this one is the one that I think useful to, if you, for example, if you study two books and you know that they have connections and you want to find out like what are the difference of the two books, may not be two versions of it, then you can think about use this use case. So, okay, for the next one, this one have multiple steps. For this one, we have some deeds from Taiwan Taiwan History Digital Library, built by Professor Xiang Jie at National Taiwan University. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to extract some of the data from the DIT. Those including the title and then the people and organization. The people and organization and their roles mentioned in the DIT. The contractor who wrote the DIT and then the date of the contract. Okay, these are the information I want to grab from the DIT. And then I give it an example. Here is an example. The example, this is the DIT, the original text of the DIT. And then this is the result I want it to output. So this is a few short prompting example. And then did B, and then this is the result I want it to provide. At the last, I have a negative prompt here. You do not generate it yourself. Because in the past, it generated own new DIT in some model. So now you can copy all this. And then put it into your okay, it will not generate anything for you. Because at the end of the prompt, I said, please confirm you understand the task and don't do anything else. Okay? Please confirm you understand the task. And then he said, I understand the task, and then okay, then you can go back to here, then you can see their DIT here. These are the one of the DITs. And then keep the same conversation because we already gave the instruction, and just keep the conversation and then paste the DIT, only the DIT in it. Okay, so you can see it provides a title, it provides the name of the people and who are their roles, what were their roles, and then they provide the location. These are the location. These are the most difficult part because this geographical location, they are not the location that on the map and you usually see. And then there are the contract, who made the contract, and then the date of the contract. Okay, so far so good. Why I use this? If you go to the digital library, you can go to, sorry for the non-Chinese user here, and this one does not have an English version. So if we go into the original, I forgot that I need to log in, but the original documents is already extract data manually. So you can use something like this as an evaluation to see how good the model is before you want to process a large amount of data. So in this case, I'm only showing, there is another dit using here. There is another dit without any punctuation, and you can also try it. So in case, let's think about it. In case you have 10,000 of dit, and then you can do the first round of getting all this information with the LLM or the GenAI, and then what you need to do is you are not going to type it, you are going to review it, and then evaluate it to see how good they are. Of course, if this is going into production, if you have similar tasks, I would suggest don't do it like, if you have 10,000, don't do it into one round. Don't do it all in one round. You can start with like 100 documents and try the 100 documents. And once you try the 100 documents, you have the idea that what are the problems? What are the major problems in the extraction? And then you can start to revise your prompt or revise other things to get it more accurate in the prompt. Okay? Yes, please. So in the original poem, I said that there is a last sentence of the original poem. I said, confirm your understanding of the task, and then after that, I will give you the prompt. I will give you the date. Then it understands all the incoming information. They are the dates. So it has memory. It has memory for each conversation. Yes, and if you know that court, they have a feature called projects, and OpenAI 2 days ago they also released a feature called task. So you can have multiple conversation under it, and then the task is more like give reminders and things. But for project is you can have multiple conversation under one project, and then they may have some connecting memory to each other too. So yeah. Oh, you mean like, okay, you find out the first one there are some incorrect, right? Yep. Oh, sorry, I'm still a little bit confused of your question. You mean that, okay, for example, we have the first date in it, right? It generated result. And then we figured out there are some mistakes in it. And then we ask it to. Yep. Yes. Yeah, just give it. Also, one related question to it. You can see a lot of my prompt. I use please. I use try to be a polite way. But their research, they study that try to be impolite. Impolite in a way that you give instruction. Because okay, first, we are a lot of research are not doing with the frontier models. The frontier model we are talking about are like OpenAI ChatGPT, the 4.0 or maybe the O1 model, the Code Sonnet 3.5 new models. Those are the frontier model. But for example, if we talk about Llama 3.3, a quantized model, then research can tell that like less this kind of like please, could you mind? Because those could be noise to the model, right? Okay, so this is one thing. There are a lot of interesting things in prompting. You may not expect that. For example, you can ransom it. You can ransom the LLM, like you in your prompt. You can try it if you have this kind of scenario. The first time, they may not be able to do it. And then the next time you say, you know, my job is in dangerous if I cannot get this finished. Like I will lose my home, I will lose everything. Can you do this task for me? Right? Yes. And then there are studies to say that it could make a difference. You can expect that related to human behaviors, and that's why a lot of people said those LLM, they have bias. They just replicate our bias in our behavior. So yeah, maybe that's true, and you can do a lot of experiment with all this. But I hope that also related to your question. Like, yeah, I would say let me put it in this way. You can see that the ChatGPT is very interesting with my first prompt, right? It did not have the same problem in the past, but so that's why you can see all this model they're changing. No matter in a good way or bad way. So if you have task, you need to do it. Try to first experiment with different model to see the result and pick the model that good for your task at that moment. Okay. So far, any questions about the use case we use? I saw you raise your hand.
Oh yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
But I asked ChatGPT that gave me a great answer. My question was, the example you gave it, was it written in Markdown language? Can it recognize other, for example, if I copy paste the table from Microsoft Word, does it recognize the table? ChatGPT says I can recognize everything.
So first, that everything is, I have doubt about that. But okay, let me put it in this way. If you use ChatGPT, if you have the table, from Excel, you copy and paste it, and then you paste it into ChatGPT, you will see that it uploads an image to it. So it's not recognizing the table, it's recognizing the image. So it kind of do OCR for the first step, capture the things, and then try to do it. That could be but if you upload an Excel file, which we did yesterday, I would like to do it again today. I hope it's not doing too bad thing. So you see, I can upload file here. So I have 2 files. Hannah sent them to me before the workshops upon my request, because I want to know more about the participant of this workshops. So I uploaded 2 Excel files to it. So there you can see the 2 Excel files. I already take away your name and your email, so don't worry. So there are 2 files in it. And now if I said that make 2 pie charts for the 2 workshops showing the frequency people using AI tools. Yeah, it's interesting. It's much slower in the last couple of days. Okay, first it says the column titled how frequently do you use GenAI appear to be relevant for analyzing the AI tools usage frequency. And then it gives me 2 pie charts. Okay. So the first one was yesterday. That was the data from the yesterday's workshop. Then you can see every day. And then this one is from today. So the people who registered has much more percentage on this, right? And then you may say, is it recognizing the things? No. What is under the hood is it wrote, or he or she wrote Python code, and then do use PD. If you are familiar with Python, you know that that is Panda, the Panda library, and then to do all this kind of data cleaning and visualization, and then generate the pie charts for you. Okay, so this is a good opportunity. I want to make some point here. This case compared to the case of the did. Okay, there's one very important difference there. For the case of the did, this is not opening a coder, write Python code, use regular expression. Are you familiar with regular expression? Regular expression, librarian. You don't need to use regular expression in your, okay, sorry. Regular expression is a way that you can write some kind of code, then you can extract the text in that pattern that you assign to them. So what it does here is not using all this coding method to get the information and transform the information. What it does is it uses the pattern that it recognizes and then transform it all under the magic. But for the case of this one, this making the pie chart, analyzing the table, what Open AI, what ChatGPT did, it wrote the code and then transform the data with Python code in their runtime and then provide you with the results. Okay? This is a very important difference. Very important difference. At this moment, you may not fully capture why this difference is important. But once that you use it a lot in your research, you find out that this is very important difference. Because when it write the code, then you can check the code. If you are familiar with Python, most likely it uses Python to do this work. Then you can check the code. You can verify the code to see if there is any problem in it. That means the hallucination will happen in the code, not in the result that it provides. But for the case in this one, because you don't have the code, and you even don't know how these LLMs, they transform the data from A to B. So the hallucination happens in the result. Okay? So far, so good? Okay. Yes, please. I would say for this case, for my experience, it's very difficult to use coding for this. If you have experience in coding, you know that it's very difficult to use coding for this because regular expression is one way to do it. You may familiar with there's a long-lasting project at Harvard called CBDB, China Biographical Database, right? This year is their 25 years, so they will have a big celebration in Beijing during the summer. So for that 25 years, in the very beginning, so China Biographical Database is a database that tries to collect all the biography from different texts and put it into a relational database. So in the very beginning, what they use is regular expression. They find out the text and then try to see, okay, when there is a text, it first appears is the people's name, maybe Deng Guoliang, and then 字 his courtesy name is this, and then his hometown is this. That usually in a pattern. And then they write the regular expression to capture that pattern and the specific terms in that pattern. That could be some information for them, right? So that's the regular expression. And then later, they start to use BERT, B-E-R-T, which is the kind of like the first generation of transformer. This could be a little bit too technical here. So they use BERT or even some NER recognitions technology to try to capture it. Even for that part, was already kind of like a black box. You cannot see, not like regular expression, which you can see the pattern, and that is already kind of black box. I would say this is even more black box. So for case like this, yes, thank you very much for the term black box. Yes, so this is black box. So we cannot see how it goes from A to B. But for the coding part is, you can clearly see the code, which means you can verify the code to find out the problem. And then, yeah, so that's the. Yes, I would say at this moment, the code is only for doing the statistic analysis. If you can ask it to say, hey, this is my task, can you write a code for me, especially regular expression. Regular expression it's very good in writing regular expression. I taught a class called Digital Tools and Digital Method in East Asian Studies. In 2001, I need to spend 3 hours to teach students how to write regular expression. And I gave a very difficult assignment to students, which is an on-site quiz for regular expression. It has 28 levels. Usually, the best student I got is reached the 22 level, spending 72 hours on it to get reach it. But now, you can easily conquer that with the help of GPT or the chatbots. Writing regular expression is very good for it's a very good ability for of the chatbots. Okay, so let's move on. So for the next one, this one, discern the color reference in classical poetry. This one is, I developed this last year, or maybe last year, or maybe in 2003, the time that when I discovered, when I found out this use, I was so excited. So what it does is, we have poetry. This is Chinese. You can have Japanese or any poetry in it. What I want to see is, please analyze the color mentioned in the given poetry sentence and provide an explanation of your reasoning. So if you can read the original text here, then you can think about, I would say, when you read poetry or when you read a poem, there is something that a visual, a vision in your mind, right, when you read the text. So what I want to do is I try to make that vision into something that really visible to us. So now I have this, and then I start a new chat, and then I just paste it in. So it extract the words. For example, the first word, qi, is black, and the second one, gray, and then this is old blood. So the suggestion is a dark brownish red, and then Tonghua is copper patina, and suggesting it's green or blue green. Okay, so these two sentences were from a Tang poet called Li He, who was famous in writing poetry with colors. And then the next step is, I'm not only asking it to give me that, and then so I also asked it, okay, try to give me the hex code. If you're familiar with website development or design, you know that this string represents a color, specific color in computer readable format. So I asked it, okay, give me the color of this sentence or this. And then it tried to give me this color. So you may say, what, why this is? So I'm only doing this for one sentence. You can put this or connect to one block for this two sentences. If I have all the Tang poetry, and then every sentence turn them into this, then you can visualize the hue of the Tang poetry. Or if you just pick Li Bai and Du Fu and make a hue of Li Bai and Du Fu, and then you can compare that two very famous poets in a way that, in a visualization way, that you need to do it in the past, very difficult, I would say, because in the past, how you can do this, you may have way to do it, is you need to first to find out the words, the characters, what color it represents. And then you need to use regular expression or some other way to capture those words and then convert it into it. But now you can generate this within an hour with the help of ChatGPT writing code for you, and then it can do it all by itself. Yeah, this is a kind of like a creative way to use it. If you have a project similar to this, you want to, for example, if you study Lu Xun, and then you want to compare Lu Xun with Charles Dickens, who is darker, who is gray, more gray, then you can try with this. Again, use this in the research process. Don't use it to support your conclusion. I may put it in a way that this is more creative brainstorming way, not a way to do things. Not saying that, hey, you see, this is great and darker, because it can generate different time with different results. Okay, so then you may ask, hey, Quoklearn, how can I solve this problem? The problem you can solve it is ask it to generate 100 times. And then you have 100 hue of the color, and then to then compare 100 times to see which one is darker. But then a lot of people may criticize this approach because it consumes a lot of electricity. Because you use a lot of AI, and then you consume a lot of electricity. So maybe this kind of research can be done in the future when we have better way to solve the problem of the electricity and consumption of electricity, and more specific specific models or things to do this. But this is just a creative approach. And then the next one is kind of like a variant of this. So you can try to get all this and then into your prompt. Even you don't recognize the name of the pages, is okay. So what does this prompt does is I have a list of name. I have a list of name. Even those names are the names that from the pages in Ming Dynasty. That's the 14th century to 17th century. So I have all this name. I would like to visualize them on a map. But how I can do it to visualize it on the map? I know that there's one format, it's called GeoJSON. It's a format that used by a lot of maps to showing the geographical longitude, latitude, the coordinates of the location. So I asked it to, okay, now I give you the name. Try to get all the coordinates and then put it into this format. And then I can now copy this. And then there is a website here. You can click this link with your result. Click the website here. And then now I can put it here. And you can see there are some green points here. These are all the pages that already become that the name represent. For example, this one is called Guiping. This is Guixian. And then this is Panyu, right, in the Guangdong province. You can do the same thing with Korean name, Japanese name, or even, I haven't tried with Tibetan, but you can try with the Tibetan name in the Tibetan transcript. So, any question about this use case? Yes, please. Okay, the paste run this code is, I know this website here. You can see this website, this one. Click this website here, right? And then I just paste the result in it. So far, so good? I'm running out of time. Any question about this part? No? Okay. So this is only, actually this is very important if you really have a repeated task you want to do use AI to generate the results. Structure prompt. All we did in the last 30 to 40 minutes, we use something called conversational prompt. That is like keep conversation, like a conversation with the AI. But there is another way, which is structure prompt. You can see a structure prompt here. This is an example. You don't need to do it because this is only kind of workable in the model that I use, but it's a very interesting thing. Okay, so I got this prompt, and then I start a new chat, and then I paste it in it. Okay. I need to, and then I just click enter. So it's all Chinese, but if you read Chinese, then you know that it's picking jokes with terms that I enter. For example, if I enter something called 女朋友, girlfriend, then it will write the code, and very soon the code can become a card. Okay, so if you can read the Chinese, if you don't read the Chinese, I'm sorry about that, but this problem is kind of in Chinese. But if you read the Chinese, you will laugh, right? So then every single time because this poem is structured, and every single time I use this poem, I give a new word to it. It can generate result randomly, but based on the style, the writing style of it. So this is structure prompt. You can check this website to get more idea of the structure prompt. But I'm not going into it because it's quite difficult to explain what a structure prompt is, and it's quite difficult to write a structure prompt at this moment if you are not familiar with it. So I will jump into the next section to talk about data right now. So do you have any questions about the use cases? Yeah.
One problem at the color chart before, I use ChatGPT.
Yes.
Of the point, the color, but it's different from Cloud.
Yes, I would say that every time is different. Every time is different. So that's why I said that it's inconsistency. That is one issue in the concern we raise. That's why I also said that you cannot use it to support your conclusion with only one generation, because even you do it every single time, it gives you different results. So you cannot say, okay, this is definitely the word that Li He represent or someone represent. You need to have a way to say, like, I generate 100 times, and then I can see, like, this is the hue that produced by generation of Li Bai's poetry, and this is the hue generated based on Du Fu's poetry, and then this two, like after 100 times, is this darker or is this darker? Then we can make a conclusion based on this. But
How could be accountable?
there's no way to accountable only for one generation. So the more the generation, the number of, like, once you reach a number, then you can see that, okay, the opportunity of the darker color from Li Bai's, from Du Fu's poetry is more than Li Bai's poetry. Then you may need to phrase your conclusion in this way.
Which means we don't have a standard.
No, this is definitely no standard. But, okay, this is an interesting point. From humanity's perspective, is it possible for us to have absolute subjective when you read a document, or when you read a poetry, or when you read a poem? I don't think so, right? And this is very different from scientific research, because if you think about scientific research, the result can be replicated, right? If you have a scientific research from lab A, the same process can be reproduced, replicated in lab B, and then the result should be the same. For humanities, for us, I read the journey to the West, and you read the journey to the West. We can have completely different understanding of the text. Because honestly, we cannot replicate ourselves. Even, let me put it in this way, you may have something that you loved 20 years ago. I mean, reading a book, not people you loved 20 years ago, but reading the book, right? And now, if you read the same book, do you have the same feeling of 20 years before? No, because, can I write anything here? And, okay, I try to do this. Let's say every human being ourselves, we are function. So when you have function X, right, that means input and output. We have a book, we read a book, and then we generate our own opinions of the book. This is a function, right? And then we have maybe 50 people in this room. Then we have 50 functions, which are all different, right? But there is an interesting thing is we can have a time element. That means the function at this specific moment is different from the function 20 years ago. That's why to a lot of humanities authors, they always want to burn the things they wrote 20 years ago now, right? Do you have the same feeling? I want to burn something that I wrote 20 years ago. But lucky, I did not publish them, so I did not need to burn them. So as a way that I would say that this is very different between science and humanities, okay? So as a way, actually the interesting thing about GenAI is, to me, you can disagree with me, is that brings the humanities people back to the table, right? Because GenAI is inconsistent. It randomly generates every single time without absolute standard. Especially in understanding color, this is a very subjective way. There is a very subjective way to see something. There is a very subjective way to understand things.
Concerning the color, at least in Chinese, there is some specific comparison. It's something, the color from the chicken, chicken. These are 5 colors, the
Yeah.
very definite.
Yeah.
It's very definite. So, I mean, if it concludes from the oil, I think the oil, they point with 5 colors. You have this.
Yeah, but the problem is we are not really seeing the color. We are seeing the text, and it's our way of thinking the color. Of course, you may be trained to understand the word, like Zhusa, that is different from another color. For a lot of layman's eyes, we did not have that. So when we read the text, we may not have that vision. Okay, so this is I'm not saying that we should not standardize it, or there could be a way to standardize it, but the interesting point here is it's more close to human being than should not say human beings, it's more close to humanity's way of thinking things than scientific way of thinking things. Okay, so any questions so far? No? Okay, for the next 30 minutes, we need to do exercise together. Okay, so what I want to do is, I may skip about this, I still need to talk a little bit about this. The whole point of today is structured data and unstructured data, okay? In a very brief way, structured data is data with fixed schema, okay, it's easy to search and analyze. For fixed schema, we will jump more into it. And then it's consistent. It's always maintain the same data type. And then the example is including relational database, spreadsheets, the sensor data, and also the CSV file. If you are not familiar with CSV file, actually those are the tabular format that which use comma as delimiter to separate different columns of the data. And then for unstructured data, actually they are like data of emails, the web files, our online posts on Facebook, videos and photos. They're unstructured data. They're not following a certain kind of schema, so we need to kind of give a schema to it. And there's a hybrid data which have a loose schema, not very strict schema, and the two example is XML files and JSON files. So you may have more understanding after our exercise. So can you open this page? Here is building a Harry Potter database. And can you open this page? Then it will bring you to this, the complete list of Harry Potter characters. Inspiration for fans and writers. Oh, no, I don't need advertisement. So you will, on this page, what you will see is you will have the 76, if I'm correct, characters from Harry Potter. Yes, 76, right? So you can see their name is their name and then a short description of who this person is. Okay? So I hope you still remember some of the Harry Potter essential elements. This was a British colony before, so do you have houses in secondary school? No? Not like the Gryffindor or Slytherin in Harry Potter. For those who grow up in Hong Kong, in secondary school, we have houses. So honestly, when we first watched the Harry Potter, is so familiar with the situation we in our daily life. What you need to do is we don't use any AI for the next step, okay? Don't use AI, don't use any AI. So then you can go back to this page. Then you will see here, I have a Google Sheet. You click on it, you should be able to access to it. Okay, open in a new tab, and then you should be able in it. So you already see, oh, some people are really fast. I have my name on the first sheet, and you can press 1, and then put your name on it. I think Kai is already on it. And yeah, you don't need to have your full name, anything that you love to identify yourself. This has been an exercise that we do with a lot of workshop participants in the past couple of years, but sometime with Harry Potter, sometime with the other data. So now, what are the next steps? Okay, a table is a structured collection of data organized into cells, rows, and columns. So you can see this is a table. There are cells. One of this is cell, and then column, and then row, right? So is in this structure, and then okay, each row, also known as a record or triple represent a single unique instance of an entity being described by the table. And each column, also referred to as a field or attribute, represent a specific characteristic or property of the entity. Cells formed by the intersection of rows and columns contained individual data points, okay? So now, read the Harry Potter characters page carefully. As a row represent an entity, what are the entities on this page? So what you should put in one row, or each row, what it should be represent. If on this page, I want to build a database, or I want to data model the data on this page, what are the entities on this page? The characters, right? One person is one entity. So on the table, one person should represent by one row, okay? Then find out the characteristic that can be filled into columns. Each column that represent an attribute, okay? So this could be a little bit abstract, then I will start the first one. For example, for a person, usually you build a table for taking information for example, the people who participate in this workshop. What are the questions you first ask on the form? Name. Very good. However, will you split the first name and the last name? Okay. This is starting point of the data modeling. You need to think about how you can take care of your data. So I will say last name and first name. Okay. Okay, so you have the idea what attribute is, right? And you have the idea what entity is. And then next, go back to the page and then start to think about what kind of attributes you can use as column, and then you can use as column and get the data out of it. Okay, for example, I already mentioned there's one thing is house. That is a very Harry Potter thing, right? You remember what house was Harry Potter? Gryffindor, right? Yeah, there are, okay, how many of them? 4, okay, we can wait for it, okay? So, house. Any other things? With the text. That's what you do for your research, right? You read the text, and then you find out the attributes that should be contained into your text. For example, if you are reading a newspaper article, if your research data are newspaper articles, what are those attributes? Title of the article, right? Date of the publications, which newspaper it come from, right? And who was the author? All these are attributes. What kind of attributes you can think of the table? You can start your own work. Let me check. Yeah. Okay. First name. Okay. We have relationship. Very good. This one has relationship. Okay. But what kind of relationship? It does not explain here. We may ask, whose table is this? Okay, Hannah. Relationship to Harry, because that is something that mentioned in the document, right? Relationship to Harry, okay? Any other interesting point? Oh, very good. Excuse me, who is CIT? Oh, you're doing a very good job. You see, it has gender, right? Hogwarts house, position. Okay, what kind of position is aura or is a Death Eater? And then we also have the personality description, and then the special character, and then the life partner. Okay, so you can see the text. They are unstructured text. Sorry, may I have your name, please? Sorry? Conrad. He is doing a very good job already data modeling the whole text. So you need to think about how you can data model it. Don't follow others. Try to think your own way, and then try to enter 10 different characters into it. Because the 10 is to see that is it all the attributes you build that fit of all of them, or will there be any missing data? Don't use AI, okay? I know there is a temptation. Have you done this for your own data before? I hope you did this before. No matter it's an Excel spreadsheet or right? So that's usually the first step how we handle our data. Okay, maybe we just do 5, 10, maybe too many for you. May I know who is HQQ? Okay. Okay. Some of you may finish, or some of you may not. But okay. Let's just stop right here. You can finish it during the lunch, or if you want. But let's see some examples here. We talk about this, and then so, for example, you may have your own. Okay, here is very important point. Again, doing data modeling, there for two purposes. Usually, one is the librarian's purpose. You may need to provide the metadata for the people who may use this data, right? So that is the perspective for the librarian. But that could be a perspective from the researcher. So that's something that's useful to you. That may not be useful to others because that could be your research question, okay? So that's why there's no right or wrong in how to data model it. Of course, if you study data science, the data scientists, they may say, no, there's right or wrong way to data modeling it, but from a humanities researcher perspective, they may not be right or wrong of data modeling. I will even put it in this way because retrieval augmented generation, we even maybe in the future, unstructured data could be like people may not get them into structured data because of the retrieval augmented generation. But at this moment, we still need to have something that's useful for our research. Then you can see we have different way of modeling it. For example, race. This is, I don't see too many modeling have the race, right? And then gender, and then age, okay? Age is a problem here. Not a problem. Age is something that we need to think about. What is the age? Age can be something that always change, right? When 1 year pass, age pass. Of course, we are only doing this for one page, so that information may be specific on that page. He was 46 on that page, right? But that could be problem in your data if you set age. So the better way to do it is if you know that it's birthday, right? Then you can do the calculation by using birthday. But that's fine. And then house, personalities, and all this, and gender, and let's see, group, okay? So group, I think here you're talking about, is there any like the what is it called? The what of Phoenix? The order of Phoenix, right? And those kind of group. And then the related characters, writer's comment, right? On that page, on that specific page, there is a sentence always talk about the inspiration and also the writer's comments on it. So you start to getting the sense of getting the attributes and then also getting the entities of it, right? Okay, without using anything with AI. Okay, now how can AI help you to model? How can AI help? If you want AI to help you, you want to bring AI to the table, how can it help you? With, sorry? Here? So you want to pass, okay. My bad, because what I want, I understand what you want to say is you have a schema. That is my next step. You already jump into it. you have a schema, how AI can help with that schema, right? But now, just think about, we even don't have the schema. What schema means is, this is your schema. You have the attribute, and then you have the attribute, you know that each attribute, what information go into it. That's the schema. Even you don't have the schema, how can it help? Yes. So don't think that, don't go into the difficult directions. For AI is always, the more lazy you are, you can use it better, right? Okay, even I'm very lazy. I don't care. I just cut this. I cut 10 or maybe 11 of them. And then I go to any of my AI. Okay. Can you suggest us the attributes that for modeling the data below? Yeah, very, very like to human beings. Don't know what I'm saying, but let's see the AI. Oh. So, no, I don't want you to do it. I know what you want to do, but yes, this is what I want. Don't worry. So what it does is, even because I connected to my SQLite database on my desktop, so it even wants to try to connect to my SQLite database. But no, this is what I want. So you can see, even it tells you, because I connect to my SQLite, you can see it here. So it even tells me that, okay, if you want to do a SQLite database, these are the table and attribute to it. To this, maybe to you is a little bit, maybe I just, again, with the help from, and then I go back here and just copy this. Okay, they are so smart. We are doing the same thing on only one table, right? They are already jumping into the different step as getting multiple tables. For example, it tells you, okay, the character tables, you have the character ID, you have the first name, last name, school, house, school. So it distinguishes that we have Hogwarts, and we also have the two other magic schools that mentioned in volume 4 of the book. And then the description, and then the narrative significance. This is one table. This is one table. We'll come back a little bit later on why we should have different tables. And then the second one is, you have the ability, the primary key, the character ID, the ability type, and then the ability description, because it mentioned a lot of different abilities there. Sorry about that. And then the last one is the relation table. So it gives you the relationship, like primary, the character 1, character 2, and then the relationship type. And then also the character rows table. Okay, so this is what I want, is it helps you to analyze your data and give you the information that it wants. And then the next step is, as Andrew said, we can just paste the text into it, because if you remember our case of the date, right? This is the schema. This is the things that we want it to do. And then we can paste the text into it and then ask it to extract the information and put them into each field of it. Okay? So far, so good? Okay, it's 11:59. I don't want to take your time or steal your time for lunch. So if we have questions, we can discuss during lunch. And when we come back, we will continue with this, and then I will try to explain why when I ask for a schema or attribute, it gives multiple table instead of one table. Okay? Thank you very much.